Hi and welcome to my Santa Claus shop update. Wait, what? Santa Claus is getting his own shop update? He's getting his own video? Yes, of course, because what would the world and especially Christmas be without Santa Claus? And another reason for this is that you have asked for something like this, what I want to show you in this video. You have asked for Santa Claus things to put into your journals, to make cards, to make especially quick and easy things for Christmas. And because of that, because you know, your wish is my command, I have this for you. This is my Santa Claus bundle, and it's named Santa Claus Bundle because it's a lot. It's a total of 80 printable pages. Yes, you've heard right, 80. And with this, you hopefully get everything you need for making some cards or tags to put onto your Christmas gifts, or to make a Christmas journal, or a Santa Claus dedicated journal. I know there are many people out there who love Santa Claus journals and, you know, bring a journal to the Santa Claus point. I don't know if I can say that in English like that, but I hope that makes sense. Christmas journals in general, nice, but a Santa journal, wouldn't that be cool? Just a journal with only Santa things. I thought that could be a possibility for this paper collection as well. And as you can see, there are a lot of different styles, not only different things like cards and ephemera and pages and that stuff, but also different styles. I wanted to have something that's really, really versatile. And I also included some things that are not so like typical, some special things like this tree, for example. Santa tree. I love this so much. I will just put that to the side because I want to use that in a second. As you can see, I already had some fun with these papers, so here's already something missing because I made some things for a little journal that is here on my right side. I wanted to show you that in a second as well and make something in this journal with the papers. And yeah, so I thought we need Santas in our lives. We need Santas for cards and for everything that we want to create. And I tried to get images that are, you know, little like crisscross through different styles, like watercolor, vintage, grunge, and so on. And I also wanted to have something that you can just print and use. For example, and that's why I'm stopping here, these little guys here, as you can see, here's something missing. I've already used that up. This is one of the, I would say, most versatile things of this whole pack. These are those strips that you can use for making a belly band or for a journal page background, a card background. You could turn that into pockets or whatever you want. And I want to point out that there's a second Santa item in my shop that's called Santa Claus strips. And that's like only those strips with squares, and also with squares and rectangles and a little mix of the shapes. How can you use this and how is this meant to use? That is, of course, for this printable and for the other item as well, you know, the same like idea behind that. So these, perhaps you know them from my vintage photo strips ephemera pack that I have in my shop. That's the same idea. You can either cut them separately and use them as squares. Think a second about Santa Claus ID cards. Can someone please take these and make some Santa Claus ID cards? I mean, that would be just amazing. And of course, you can cut them separately, use them as a focal point for something, make ID cards. Or you could also, of course, cut them like strips in this direction or in this direction. And there are some that have squares where you can cut like so or like so. And there are some others, like this page, for example, where it's meant to cut like this, or like this, or like this. It would make no sense here to cut it in this direction, because in some places you would cut Santa's head off. Yeah, for example, if you would cut here, then you would, here cut through the image, and here you would cut his head off. You could do that for a collage or something like that, for a background, no problem. But these, where the images are not all squares, but also rectangles, and those smaller strips are meant to cut like this, so that you have this like vertical strip. I hope that makes sense. So compared to these, here you can decide if you want to cut vertical or horizontally. And also on those strip pages, the styles are really, really different. I tried to get, the most out of this. Also, when it comes to creating something fast for Christmas, or you need a lot of something, then you have, in my eyes, a really easy job with this printable, because you can just print that out. You will see that in a second when we work in this journal. You can just print it out and you have the right size somewhere on those pages, yeah, because it's so much that you have a lot to choose from. These, for example, I can also imagine as little accordion folios, or, just cut these 3 strips and then fold it like an accordion here, 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 and here. Or you could also cut 2 out of that and make a mini journal. You can fold it here, and then you have a little like tiny mini page, and the whole sheet would give you enough for a whole mini journal. I thought it would be nice to have something the same for this in a different format, would also work. I thought it would be nice to have a really big choice with different styles and different possibilities, also for the material you print on. You can print some of these on canvas, for example, to have a different texture, or you could also turn some of these images into stickers. Imagine to print this on a sticker sheet and then just cut this, for example, out, like fuzzy cut this out, or this here, and then you have a sticker. Or you can also make rectangled stickers, or I think this is a square, isn't it? I think this is a square. Louisa. It's a rectangle as well, but it's a square, Or these round things here, of course, you can turn them into clusters or like closures for your journals. Or you could also print them on, those sticker sheets, and then just cut them out, and then you have your own Santa Claus stickers. Especially for those, I thought that could be nice. These are so cute. And then you also would have something to stick on your Christmas presents, for example. You could print these in a smaller scale, of course, as well, if you don't like them so big. But I thought for like a little journal, this could be a nice focal point for the cover, for example. But of course, you could just print them in half size. Is that a word? In, the half of the size, and then you would have smaller stickers if you want. Also for the tags and other like pocket ephemera things, you could print this on heavier paper. This is just 110 GSM photo paper, because I like to back my tags always with something else. But imagine if you print this on heavier paper, then you can just cut it out and your tag is ready to go. You could print something to the back or leave the back white for journaling. Many possibilities. And if you want to make a whole journal and you need full pages, then I have these pages here for you. You can just print them out, fold them in half, and then you would have the perfect journal page for your Santa journal. These pages are DIN A4, and I want to mention something that I get very often as a question. Can you print DIN A4 to US letter size without problems? Yes, you can. You can. I think there are many people who don't know that, and it is something perhaps where you even don't think about, yeah, when something says it's DIN A4, then you perhaps think, oh, I have US letter, I can't print it, but you can print it. Just tell your printer that it shall not resize the image to the page. If the printer wants to print your full US letter sheet, then you would have the problem that something on the bottom and on the top is missing. But if you tell him just print it without resizing it, yeah, then you get a small white border on the left and the right. You can just cut that off. Of course, your page would get a little smaller, but you would have the full image without losing anything on the top or the bottom. And you could also take this white border that you get to decorate or to put a pocket over that so that you won't see it anymore. So it's absolutely no problem to print A4 to US letter size paper. If you have any further questions about that, please just message me. Yeah, I mean, that's always, yeah, if you have questions, then please ask. But if you have questions with printing or something like that, please don't wait, just ask me, and I'm sure we can figure that out together. Sometimes it's just a little setting in your printer and then you have the solution. Yeah, so as you can see, I have also some pages where you have a lot of journaling space, so that you also could use these pages for a December daily journal, for example. Or, of course, any other Christmas journal, but I know that December dailies are relatively popular. And I also tried to get some color variations so that you don't have the same like style and color palette on each page. Here we have some collage papers, which you can just, you know, tear and use for several different things. And I know that it's, you know, there are those people who like love vintage Santa Claus images, and I wanted to try to give you a lot of that. And also for those who say, "Ooh, I can't handle those vintage Santa Claus images," I thought perhaps I can, yeah, you know, bring you to that. Because I mean, to be honest, when I made this, I was like, this is not my emotion for Santa Claus. This is not really, I mean, it's even not Austrian Christmas or something like that. But I want to come in contact with also other traditions of celebrating Christmas in different countries. And that's why I thought I want to mix that. Yeah. So for example, this is, I would say, relatively like vintage, somehow traditional for some countries, and this is totally different. It's more like artsy, more abstract, not those like typical traditional green and red colors. This is more like turquoise, and you know, the tree is white and it's not so typical. And I tried to get this mix into this printable paper set as well, and I really like this. This distressed look. When you print this on photo paper, I would say you get the best result, but I feel like a broken record when I say that. But perhaps you are new. If you want to, I mean, new to digital paper, if you want to get a really good result, then don't use copy paper for printing, but use photo paper. And then you get a really nice and crisp result. With copy paper, sometimes you have this like grayish fog over your print. Can work, can look good. It's no problem. You can print on copy paper, but if you think, the quality on photos or in Louise's videos or wherever looks better, then it's just because I've used matte photo paper, and many people do that to get really good results. I also have some papers that have these seamless patterns, which you can use, of course, as backgrounds for your journals, journaling pages. Just, you know, fold this like so, and you have a nice background for a collage or whatever you want to put on here. You could also use this as a backing for a Christmas card. Imagine you have, I thought, especially with this page, wait, where is it? Here. With this page, that could look really cool. Imagine you would have this, and you would make a relatively big card like this, for example. Oh, let's take this away. That looks absolutely crazy with those colors. Let's say this is the backing of your card, and then you have something, for example, a tag or something like that. Let's just take this, and you put that on here, just in this small size, and you have something on here. A poem, or just Merry Christmas, and a nice background, some die cuts or whatever, just a nice focal point. And all of these are around here and they are looking at you. I think that looks, in my eyes, that looks just nice. And I wanted to have something that is really easy to do, yeah, so that you can just print that out and play around, and then in the end you have some nice things for your friends to gift to someone or whatever. And these seamless patterns would also work really well as gift, how is that said in English? Wrapping paper. Especially this one here. Imagine, I mean, if your present is relatively small, then one page would be enough. If your present is a little bit bigger, just imagine print several of these, glue them together, and use that as wrapping paper. That is just, I mean, I would love to get a present with this paper. Also this, a little bit more vintage, this would work as wrapping paper as well, I would say. I mean, all of those, yeah. It's also perhaps depending on the age of the person that you want to give the present to. This is perhaps more like for children, or, you know, if we think very, very traditional, I hate that, but this is perhaps more like for a boy's present, yeah. But I mean, I would love this as well. I like blue, but you know, there are some people who like to wrap the presents for the boys in blue paper and for the girls in red paper, you know. You can hear I'm not a fan of those, like, I think you already got what I want to say. I don't like when you say a boy has to get a blue present and a girl has to get a red present. That doesn't make sense to me, but of course you can do it if you want. So here, this is like a little pocket. You can just cut this out and glue that together, and then these would fit in there. You can just cut them apart, then you would have 3 separate cards, or you can leave this as it is and fold it like a mini accordion, and then that would fit in here. And these smaller cards would of course also fit in here. Some people like to have different sized cards in a pocket, so that you can do that as well. The same with these little guys here. So these you could just leave as a strip, then you have a little ticket strip, or you could cut them apart. You can also decorate this pocket with them. Here, these are meant to cut separately. You could also use this as a front and this as the back. You can see the pattern is like matchy, so that if you would glue these, you know, this to the back of this, then it would match from the front and the back, and it would look like you had printed it on the front and the back of the paper. Please don't be confused about this page. I haven't realized that when I started here recording my video. This was cut off from my printer. Of course, when you get this page, you will have a little like white frame here, and this will be complete. Of course, I haven't realized that my printer made this mistake. I think this was the last page that my printer had, and then sometimes it makes a little strange thing because he can't grab the paper so well. But of course, if you print this, then this will be centered and everything will be on the page. So you could use this, of course, to cut it out as ephemera tags, or you could also use this as a page. I mean, you know, you can just fold it like this and use that as a page as well. And here we have some more of those tags. So now let me show you some examples what you could do with this paper. And in this video I want to keep it like really simple, no fancy stuff. I just want to show you that you can print that out and use it and have something cool. Yeah, so for example, let's say you have already a little journal, or I mean, don't run away. If you don't have a journal, you don't need a journal. You can transfer these ideas also to cards or tags or whatever you like. Yeah, you don't need a journal. But I had this journal because I made this with the last stamps and stencils from Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. Of course, this is from my Santa bundle. I've already made that in the German video, but the rest is made with the Christmas release by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. And I have just stamped to some fabric with some frayed burlap oxide ink, and then I've glued that to a little heavier paper, so that this is like a mixture of soft and hardcover. It's not really very soft, but it's also not hard, you know. That worked really well. I wanted to try that out. It's to stamp with oxide ink on fabric. Worked really, really well. Of course, this is not waterproof. If I would spritz some water here, then it would bleed, but I don't want to spritz water, yeah. So I was surprised that that worked so well on this relatively smooth and slippery fabric, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. This stamp is just amazing. I will link all of the stamps and stencils from that release down below the video for you so that you can check that out. And here on the front I have just made a little pocket, or actually it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets, because this little thing here, this zigzag thingy here, is the inner part of an accordion folio. You know those Ideology accordion folios? And there's this loose accordion part in the middle, and I had that left over from another project, and I thought it would look nice if I just stamp a little bit on this with the new stamps. And then I've stenciled here also with this stencil. This stencil is absolutely gorgeous. I am so in love. Also here, this is the negative of the same stencil here in the background, and this Merry Christmas also comes from the release. Absolutely amazing. These stamps from the last release, I think, and the stencils, of course, they match each other so well, even if they are so different. I mean, the styles, also this tree or this Santa here, look, the style is so, I mean, something like, I would say this is a little bit like more modern jelly print artsy style. This tree is relatively vintage and traditional. Also those this font here of this little thing here is more like vintage and grungeable. Is that a word? But that fits so well together, and I had really much fun to create this. So I've just added this little tag, and this is just a little Ideology ephemera, and I added this little white feather. I have my I don't know what that is, but I have something with feathers at the moment. I need feathers in all of my projects. So for the inside and for the pages, I have just used some photo paper as well, which I have stained with some oxide inks. This is stamped. It's the same stamp like on this tag. Look how different that looks if you stamp it in different colors and with different mediums. This is embossed with black embossing powder, just amazing. And the oxide ink on the photo paper, you know that perhaps, makes really, really amazing effects. And I've used that to let this background glow a little bit. And what you can see here on the left is the same stamp like here on the outside. When I compare this now, I nearly can't believe that because it looks so different, but it's the same stamp. Here I've embossed that with lumberjack plaid embossing glaze, and on the back of the journal I have also done that, but in the other direction. The stencil here in the background, you can perhaps see that is the same like this one here. And I again feel like a broken record when I say that, but look at this, and then look at the stenciling here. Here it's relatively abstract, here it's a little bit more concrete. So versatile, and that's just so grungy Christmas. I really like that. Also here on the back, I've played around with photo paper and this same stencil, and as you can see, you can get these really cool effects. And this is now waterproof. If you don't know that you can make oxide ink and also distress ink waterproof on photo paper, please check out the info box. I have a whole playlist where I show you different techniques with this effect. Yeah, so then this is waterproof. You can spritz water, you can paint with watercolor or whatever, and it will not smear. Oxide ink, distress ink, yeah, normally it would react with water, but on photo paper it gets waterproof. So here you can already see something that I've already created in the German video with the help of the Santa Claus Bundle. This is just a portion of one of the whole pages, and this is a portion of one of the cards that I have in that. So this pocket was the same size like these cards are. I've just cut a little bit off so that then this tag fits in here. This I already pre-made, that it fits to the look of this here. And I made this little pocket, which is, the tag is stopping here so that it looks like winter is the caption for this here. And the other pages in this journal are relatively empty and neutral, as you can see. I've just used some coffee dyed paper, and I wanted to have this frame around here, so I used the stamps from the release to stamp around here, and to have something that is already like a background for the decoration I want to put to the pages. So here, for example, you can see that this little belly band, which holds this tag, is like now part of this stamping because I've planned it like that, so that I already have something here that makes the whole thing more interesting. Also here on this page, I've done it exactly the same. The stamping has already been there. Perhaps that's a trick for you as well. If you plan that a little bit, then you have a really easy job. Just take the paper, glue that down. You have your pocket, you perhaps have already your tag, and then you are done within a few minutes, and you have a nice thing around the pocket without spending much time for that. So all of the pages here are like this, as you can see. And I have, so both of these go to the front here, of course. So I think they will just stay here. Perhaps I will change my mind later. You know how that is with pockets and things. I already made this little card here because I wanted that the Santa is looking out from here. Perhaps you're wondering why it's so hard to get this card in and out. I made a little mistake. When I have sewn on these pockets, I was a little bit too much pressing to this accordion. And because of that, those pockets are relatively thin and it's hard to get this in and out. It's good because it can't fall out when I hold it like this, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking to get it in and out. If you want to do something like this, then please leave a little bit more space for your pockets. Yeah, so it wrecks my nerves a little bit, but this journal is for myself, so it's okay. But if you want to avoid that, just leave a little space or make a little, additional fold here so that the pockets get a little bit more room, or how can I say that? So now he can look out from there, and I want to make something so that I can store this tag. I made it in the same style as you can see like the others, and I also have taken out some of my things that I made during a Tim Holtz live video. I have tried to craft along with him during one of his lives. So these tags are all made with mica stains and some different texture pastes, and I thought perhaps some of these colors would fit so that we can make some pockets to put those things in. But the main thing that I want to put into this thing is this tag. That's the most important thing. So let's see. I think I want to take this image here and I want to make a pocket where the tag can go in like this, but so that we can still read Christmas and see this here. So let's see. First of all, I'm going to take my absolutely favorite tool on earth. That's this thing, the new precision trimmer by Tim Holtz and Tonic Studios. I'm so in love with this thing. I mean, if you are a card maker and if you like measuring, you perhaps can't understand what I'm saying now. But if you are like me and you hate measuring and you can't get a straight cut with your scissors, then this tool is probably the right one for you as well, because now I can just go in here and I can cut this out. I'm still learning how to use this, but it's so easy, because now I can just cut this off and I have exactly the portion that I want to have. Yeah, and this is not lost. Especially, look, this little, yeah, let's cut him off as well. This little guy there, if I would have used, for example, such a guillotine trimmer, then perhaps this little portion would be destroyed. And this way I can still use that, because I can, you know, precisely cut out what I want to use, and I have no problems, and I can still use those things. I'm so happy. And I will show you another trick that I found out for myself later in the video, which is like a game changer for me, because, you know, I hate measuring. So I want to have only this little Santa tree here, and I want to use a left side of my journal. So let's see. I think I want to go with this here, so that we can have this here on the bottom, or perhaps I had a page where I had, let me see, where is that? This thing here. Do I have, oh, here? But that's a right page. Ooh, but this, oh, I like this. This is nice. Yeah, let's take that. Okay, so then let's do it the easiest way that you can imagine. So I take this and I decide where I want to put this. And I think I want to place it so that the half of the stamping here is covered, so that it like peeks out here. But this here I want to have like fully seen here on the bottom, because it looks like it's part of the paper here now. But we have to make sure that we have something where this can go in, either like this, just like a normal pocket, then we would just cut it here. Or what we also could do is we could cut it like this, so that it gets like a rectangle somehow. Sorry, a triangle somehow, but I don't like that. No, I don't like that. So I will just make a little fold here. You could take a pencil, of course. If you want to take a pencil, take a pencil. But for me, this is just the easiest thing I can imagine. And I cut there where my fold was, and then this has the right size. And that is for me just perfect, because I remember the day when Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and I met for the first time. And she was here in my studio, and suddenly she said, "Louise, I need a pencil. Can you please give me a pencil?" And I was like, holy cow, a pencil isn't existing in my studio. Why would I need a pencil? And I was like a little bit panicking and searching for a pencil. And then I gave it to her, and she said, "Oh, do you have something to make that a little bit more sharp? This is really not usable." And I was like, why the heck would you need a pencil? And then, I mean, she wanted to make a little sketch for a tag base, and I was like, I have never used a pencil to make a tag base. Yeah, for example, if I want to cut something like this, I eyeball that and I try to use those lines on my paper trimmer to cut that down. And I was like a little bit shocked. But yeah, you wouldn't find a pencil here, probably. And that's why, I mean, it's because I don't like measuring and I like those easy things. And, you know, with this new trimmer, it's really easy for me. And speaking of easy, I will take some double-sided tape to glue this pocket down now. Of course, you could use some glue, but I thought I want to show you also the really, really easy and fast things, because especially in the time before Christmas, will this still fit? Yeah. We sometimes have no time, and we even don't have time for waiting for the glue to dry. So I thought, why don't we just use some double-sided tape, because there's no need to wait for that to dry. So let's just glue this down, and then we can take this and put that in here and just leave it like so, so that the word Christmas can still be, is still shown here, so that this looks like a caption for this whole thing. And because we have this, like, you know, we've just cut it off from there, why don't we turn this into a little banner? Then we have the connection with the color here as well. I don't want to cut in here. That would look a little bit strange. So let's just leave it as a rectangle. By the way, this is hickory smoke oxide ink. I think hickory smoke fits really well to these more like turquoise papers. But let's search for something that we can use to balance this color a little bit, because this is like a little bit alone here, and I want to have some layers here for this banner. So what about this? This could already work relatively well, and perhaps we can also include some, ooh, look at this, some green. So perhaps this. Yeah, okay. So let me show you another example for what I'm trying to say the whole time here. So let's say you want to use this portion here as another layer. So the first good thing is you have different colors here. You can say, okay, I have this more turquoise thing, and I want to have on the second layer of this, so that I can flip it later on like so, I want to have another color. Then you will find another matching color in this set. Yeah, you just have to flip through the pages and find the one that you want to use. So that means, I mean, what I want to say is, not all of the pages have the same color scheme, but you have different colors, but all of the colors fit together. So now I want to place this down here like so. Can you see? Here's a few millimeters frame, and here on the bottom as well. And the cool thing about this trimmer is I can now line this up, because I know, ooh, can't see that, sorry. I know here this line is where the trimmer will cut when I place this down and run the blade through here. So I can now see how big my frame is going to be. I can hold this here, and because I can have this out of my way while I'm looking here, I can then decide how big that shall be. I can just place it down, cut here. With the help of this little thing, I know until where this has cut now. and I can just lift it up, even if you don't have to lift it up, because you can just slide it below there. But this way, I can just place it here, check if everything fits. Here I can now see how big this is going to be, and then I can press it down and cut it off, so that I only have cut off this little piece and not wasted the rest of my paper. Yeah, so that you can just cut the portions out from the paper that you want to use, which was the other paper that I have chosen for, holy crap, for the other part. It was this one. No. But yeah, why not? Why don't we ooh, look. I think we are going to do it like this. Is that too wide? I mean, even if I can't remember what I just wanted to do, that doesn't matter. That could work. Let's try to have this half Santa there. Now this is like so, and we can just lift that up, use the back for like writing or something, or just leave it as it is, and we can then put that on here. And now I'm covering a lot of that, but I still like it. What do you think? Is that too big now there? Yeah, I think it's too wide for here now. Let's see, let's search for another page where this could fit better, perhaps here. Yeah, look, this has more room to breathe now. And let's find something else for here, or just decorate that part later. So I will also take some double-sided tape to glue that down. So I think this looks really nice here. What about this blue of this tag? Not so bad. And this is not so big, but still big. What shall we do? I think I want to have another strip of this color, or perhaps even a little variation. This is slightly different than this, but this is also not the same like this, but somehow the colors are in here and in here. So why don't we take this and cut that a little smaller, so that we only have this strip now, so that it doesn't get too wide again. And then we could use this here and put something a little bigger from this behind that, so with the same idea like the other thing I've just made. So I've just cut this portion off, and I really like that these little presents are there on the bottom. Let's just ink this. I will take this and I will take that to my sewing machine to sew over here. And since we okay, so I was happy about the presents, but I will cut them away now. Because or we could only I'm so sorry. I wanted to show you that you of course can also cut this into like a real banner shape, just by cutting in here like so. And I was wondering if I shall cut into this as well, so that both of the layers have the same shape, but then the presents would go away. But this way we can see them. Haha! Who says that both of the layers have to be the same shape? Of course they don't. So let's glue that down. And this piece is so nice. I'm thinking, yeah, I just want to glue that down here. That's nice. That is really nice. Okay. So then I thought this tag here, which I've made with some mica stains as well, fits the colors of this so well. And I thought if I can take this and make some smaller things out of that. This fits even better than this. Yeah, but that is the solution, isn't it? Look. Then I can still put something in here which is way smaller than this, and perhaps also not red, but another color. And we have this color here and this connection. That looks better. And of course, if I work in this journal, then this can totally change, and it can be that this in the end looks totally different, and perhaps if you see it again you will think, hey, what has she done? And the things have totally changed, but that's normal. I mean, it's a junk journal, I want to work in it. So yeah, you will definitely see some more pictures of this journal on my Instagram in the coming days. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, because I want to just sit here and play around with my Santa bundle and try out some things. So if you want to see some more pages of this journal, then please just go to my Instagram. I will post that during the, next days. When I have finished something, I will of course share it with you. And as always, if you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments. And I also have the links to the stamps and stencils that I've used here in the description box of the video, and of course the link to the Santa bundle, and also this second smaller item with only the strips, the Santa strips like these, and several others. So you can find both of those items in the description box as well. I wish you a very, very relaxed time to craft something for your own journals, or make some gifts or some tags, or just tiny things that make you happy, like this little guy here, for example. And I hope you could find some inspiration in this video. I mean, ooh, look, yeah, this is just, those things just make me happy. This is what was missing here the whole time. I say goodbye now. Have a very creative day, and see you the next time. Bye bye.